Welcome to NGEN Markets Training session. So good evening to all of you. So we are going to start the session soon enough. I think it seems few people are joining in, so we can wait for them. Until then, we can discuss about what we are gonna talk about in this session and what we will, give the trainings about. So in this session, we are gonna talk about the portfolio construction, which consists of mutual funds, stocks, and non-standard assets. It can include foreign equities, it can include commodities, and also some foreign indices as well. And then we are gonna see how the analytics and the comparisons of those non-standard assets and the stocks work out in the NGEN Markets portal. Then we will be having the Q&A sessions, and you can address some questions and we will definitely answer them. So I hope my voice is audible to you and my screen is visible to every one of you. If it is not, you can just write it on chat or maybe verbally state it us. So let's start with this session. I hope my screen is visible. So I'm just sharing my screen up. Give me a moment. So as you can see, this is the NGEN Markets portal we have, and we will definitely directly start with the section which is called as customized security. So anyone can just write me on chat if the screen is visible, because I may not know if it is not visible. So here in this section, what you can do here is you can add different types of customized securities, right? So to add in customized securities, it is very, very simple. All you need is price series. So what do I mean by price series is, let me just off my full screen and I will show you the price series here. So within price series, what do we do here is, I'm just going to open Excel and we are going to talk about 3 commodities here. One of the commodities is gold, right? So this is the gold commodities price series I have right now in my system, right? So this is the Excel I'm just showing, and the price series is this one, which is adjusted close, which we consider. And what we do is we take into account this particular date format. So to have a date format like this, you can change the date format just by going into the home and change the dates here. That's what you can do. And we are going to copy this price series from this particular start date till the end date. Once we copy this, we can add it in our system, which is given here, which is copy and paste here from Excel. So all you have to do here is, once you copy and paste it, you can validate it. So you can see this gold price series has been added into the system, just very simply. Yeah, is my sound audible to everyone?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay.
Mr. Arora, if you can just check your computer settings, that your voice is, that your sound is on.
Okay. So yeah, as you can see, let's continue. As you can see, as I've added gold, I can add multiple commodities as well. Just to add in, I'm just gonna add in this gold, and I'm just gonna add gold as a commodity, right? So this is my first commodity, and I'm just gonna keep it as my asset class as other. And once I validate this and save it, it will be added into my customized security. The similar thing, what I can do is I can actually add in silver and other asset classes as well. So within silver, I'm just gonna copy this silver very, very fast. So all I have to do here is I just have to copy the silver. And once I've copied the silver, I just have to paste in the price series, right? So once I validate this, I can also type in silver. Yeah. So I'm doing a very hands-on experience here to show you that how you can add in price series very easily, and that will help you out in understanding how custom securities works out. So once I add in the silver, I will also add in the crude oil to show you the how to add crude oil as well. So I am saving silver as well. And subsequently, let's add in the crude oil as well. So crude oil, I have the data here. So this is the data of crude oil, right? So I'm starting from 13th Jan, and I will be just completing as of today, 12th May, yesterday. So I'm just writing it crude oil. Right? So that's crude oil altogether. So once I have added that, you can see you can validate the input of crude oil as well and save it. So this is the data series of the price series of the crude oil. And once I've saved it, it will be saved in my system as of, current start today's date. So that is what is all about for custom securities, right? So once I've added those custom securities, what I can do is I can even analyze and add in some foreign stocks. So, let's add in some stocks as well. So to add in those foreign stocks, all you have to do is copy those data. I'm just going to copy this data later on, but I will show you how we can, analyze them. So let's go ahead with the portfolios here. So within the portfolio, what you can do is you can add a new portfolio. So to add in a new portfolio, all you have to do here is click on add a new portfolio. And there are two options here. One is a manual option where you have to type in the fund, a stock or a custom security. Another is ISIN from Excel, right? And also we have given CDSL, NSDL and CAM summary report. You can add in those, report of your client and add in, but we are going to use ISIN from Excel as of now. To add in ISIN from Excel, all we have to do is copy the ISIN number or either type it in a percentage format, amount example, or units per share. In this particular example, I have an Excel sheet for this particular, ISIN, and this is a percentage example. So all I have to do is I have to copy this ISIN number, which includes stocks and mutual funds, domestic stocks and mutual funds in this ISIN number, and I'm just gonna paste it. So once I paste it, you can see this is the pasted amount. I use it as a percentage and validate the input. So you can see easily I have added some of the mutual funds and also the stocks, which is including Bata India, Housing Development, ITC and GlaxoSmithKline. So that is how it is added, and you can name this portfolio. So let's name it as a model portfolio which is comprising of domestic stocks and domestic mutual funds. So let's say we are going to add our commodities as well. So as you all remember, we have also added some of the commodities in our system, right? So let me just create it as of now. So that is the model portfolio 1 to 3 I've created, and I'm gonna add in some commodities to see if my commodities are adding up into the portfolio or not. So to add it, all I have to do is write in gold as a commodity, this one. So it will be into the others asset allocation. Another is crude oil. So this is the one, and another one is actually silver, right? So silver as a commodity. So we have added three non-standard asset classes, couple of mutual funds in domestic, in our domestic domain, and a couple of domestic equities as well. Now we can rescale them to 100 as of now. And, once we have rescaled them, I can save it as new or run it. So I'm just going to save it as new as model portfolio with a commodity, right? So that is what it is. And I'm going to create it. And then I'm going to run this portfolio to review either, whatever I've added, what is the performance, how the asset allocation is working out, and how we are actually going to review such a client portfolio who also has some investments in commodities or, or different customized securities as well. So let's go ahead with this. And in this section, what we can do is, first things for sure here is in asset allocation, right? So you can see that the three commodities we are added, that will be directly gone into the others section, right? So these three commodities will not be displayed into the asset allocation altogether. All it will do is it will show into the performances. So when you add in some customized securities, we always suggest you that you look into the performance rather than asset allocation. So let's go ahead with the asset allocation. And in this asset allocation, as you can see, the comparisons between those mutual funds, stocks, and the entire portfolio which we are running here, with the cumulative return, CAGR, annual return, it is all displayed here with an historical annual VAR, which shows you that there is a 5% probability that this entire portfolio can give a loss of negative 19.62%. And then you can view the performances based on the reference index. Now in this format, you can type in any reference index as of now. Let's say we consider any of the reference index to see if we are actually performing fairly well or not. And according to that, we can see the excess return over benchmark, annual return over benchmark, tracking error info ratio, and our capture ratios. So what does capture ratio shows you is that you can click on this I button and you can see accordingly that how our asset, that is our portfolio, has performed based on the performance of the benchmark. So when the benchmark was up, how is our return? So you can see that our asset is not fairly performing well in up captures. So the entire outperformance has been due to the down captures, and you can see accordingly that the negatives of our asset is actually lesser than the negatives of our benchmark. So that's how you can gauge in that performance of the entire portfolio. And you can also look into the monthly chart and the yearly chart as well. So as you have added significantly commodities into the portfolios, so looking into this chart might give you some overview that how it is affecting the performance of the portfolio. Secondly, you can also see the monthly statistics, that how many times our entire portfolio has been up and how many times it has been down, and what is the percentage of the up months. That is very, very important, because this gives us the frequency of the up months of the performances of our portfolio based on the monthly format. And we can also view it on a yearly format as well, which gives us the the frequency of having an up years and the down years. So this is how the performance of any portfolio comprising of a mutual fund, stock, or a commodity, or you can add an index as well, to actually view those performances. Similarly, you can also do contribution analysis. Now, why contribution analysis? As you can see, crude oil is contributing negatively into the portfolio, and this is actually gonna be tough, because even silver is giving negative, and we also have gold here, which is contributing fairly lesser into the portfolio. So holding these type of commodities for this period of you can have your own start date if you want. Let's say we have a start date of let's say 2014, right? And we have an end date of as of today. So as of today, we have an end date and we run it. Once we run it, you can see the contribution to the portfolio from this different sets of assets which we have added into the system, right? So this includes mutual funds, stocks, and all those commodities which we have added. And you can see the highest contribution to the return is actually by Kotak Flexi Cap Fund, right? So between the Kotak flexi cap and you can see in this format as well, if you click on any of this securities, you can see the performance here. So based on the asset allocation, you can see the performance fairly here. So how it has been affecting the portfolio, that is what we should look into. So this is how this works out for the contribution. And then we have the statistics of it as well. So for the statistics, you can see that that is the only statistics which we will show you is the statistics of mutual funds, the direct holdings of the equities that you can view into, and also you can look into the correlation analysis. Now this is one of the very useful one, which will help you to understand that how diversified is our portfolio, because diversification will only happen when you look into the some assets which are correlating fairly differently than others. As an example, let's consider just this mutual funds, right? So this mutual funds are actually correlating highly with each other. As you can see, Kotak Flexi is correlating highly with ICICI Pru Blue Chip, and you can also see Aditya Birla SL Frontline Equity. So between those mutual funds, shall you keep those highly correlated mutual funds together? That is a question. Another one is that silver is actually correlating highly with gold. You can see the correlation between silver and gold is too high, but the crude oil is definitely, there is no correlation. I mean, no, in the sense, very less correlation, and only correlation it has is with silver. So these commodities, how they are correlating with each other, you can view that as well. And not even that, you can even add some foreign securities such as Apple, Microsoft, Google, or JP Morgan, such types of stocks to compare this securities into the portfolio section, and easily you can have your own start date. So similarly, what we have done, the contribution analysis for those securities, you can do that for this particular correlation as well. So let's say we start from 2014, right? So 2014 till current date, and we run it. So based on that, you can see the correlation analysis. And here you can see some differences in the correlation, even in the direct equity as well. So these differences, these intricate details are shown into the system. And there are some couple of things which I would like to state, as it is a very small thing, but this states, basically these states stocks, these states mutual funds, and this wheel button states customized security. So whenever you view into this, it will definitely show that you're comparing a customized security with some mutual funds, and that gives you a fairly enough ability to actually recognize which securities are underlying which in which portion. So you can download this data in Excel as well, and then you can look into rolling analysis and distribution analysis as well. So we will talk about rolling analysis a bit. In rolling analysis, you can definitely see that one thing for sure is, if I invest in such a portfolio for a period of 1 year, my average will be 9.64%. So for a 1 year, that is 260. It is the sum of the previous 260 days, and the volatility is 11.07, with my as high as I can go is 34.03%, and the low I can go is negative 32.98. When would I have been going low? From this particular point of time. So that is how this works out for the rolling analysis as well. And you can add in multiple securities, as I've shown you. And one thing here is that when you look into the drawdown analysis, right? So drawdown analysis gives you an ability to see that what are my losses and how many days it took to recover, right? So every single point of the time, it will show you those particular losses and the days to recovery. And then you can actually take a call that the customized security which you have actually added into the system are giving you that added advantage or not, right? And adding them is very very simple. If I add in an Apple stock, let's show you how to add in some stocks as well, so that this will be given. So I'm just gonna give me a moment. Yeah, so to add in the stocks, all I have to do here is I've just added I just have some of the Excel opened up. So let's say we go for Apple stock, right? So we have this data from the source, and what you can do here is you can just I hope this is visible to everyone, and this Excel sheet essentially. So what you can do is you can just take into account close or adjusted close according to your analysis, and then copy it into the Excel. So all you have to do here is you just have to keep those price series together, right? And within keeping those price series together, you can see that the Apple stock is we have a lot of data from 1980. So what you can do is you can just take into account that what is the date format, and this is not the acceptable date format in at NGEN. All you have to do is you have to come into this format option and choose in the date particularly which is acceptable. So this is the acceptable date. All you have to click is OK. Once you have done that, this particular date is actually going to be the date you can use accordingly. So once you have done this, you can copy this entire data set, which is more than 10,000 data set into from the Excel, and paste it into the customized security section. So for the customized security, all you have to do here is paste it here, right? So it is current you can see this is the current price series, and you can see this is the price series of 12th December 1980. Once I validate the input, I can definitely see the data point updated here. So this is the data point since 1980, and you can go as beyond as possible until you have the data point. So these are like more than 8,000 data point. I can add in as Apple stock, right? US, and save it as an equity asset class. Once I save it as an equity asset class, I can validate it and I can save it. So once I validated it, I can save it easily into the system. And this you can do it for a different stock as well. Let's say we go for an IBM stock or a JP Morgan. I'm just gonna show you one more stock again, and then we can compare these stocks into the customized section altogether. So it takes time to save if you have a highly like more than 8,000 10,000 data points, as you're adding a too much data points into the system. But this works out even for a data point for 5 years or a 7 years as well. So that is how this works out. And all you have to do here is once it is saved, you can use that data points accordingly. Let's say we add in another stock, which is a Tesla stock, right? So this is one of the last stock we are going to talk about, and then we will try to compare and add those stock into our portfolio as well. So all I'm doing here is I'm just taking into account adjusted close, right? And I'm just gonna copying it into the Excel. So it just takes 1 to 2 minutes for you to actually change the date format and add it into the system. Once that is added into the system, then you can do the analysis. Then you can add in and do the comparative analysis accordingly. So I'm just copying this data, and once I've copied this data, I can type it here, validate it, and you can see the Tesla data points are updated here. So these are 3,000 data points, and you can write in Tesla as in US, right? And you can keep it as an equity asset class and validate it. So once you have validated it, you can save it. So once you have saved it, right, you can add this custom securities into the portfolio section. So to adding these custom securities into the portfolio section, you can do the same thing which I've shown you for the commodities. What you have to do here is come into the edit and save, right? Let's say we remove this, Indian domestic equity right now, as of now, and we are adding our own customized security as in Tesla and Apple. So Apple stock. So these are the, two equities we have added as a 10% allocation, and we run it. Once we run it, you can see the performance based on those on those allocations which we have given here. So you can see in others, if I show all, you can see the Apple stock I have 8.90% of exposure. It is a direct holding. You can see Tesla stock I have 8.90. Now these are the similar exposure I have, but you can see all the exposures in others, right? Like gold exposure, which is a direct holding, like crude oil. So these exposures and the performance, you can review such a portfolio based on the customized securities you have added. And not even that, once you have reviewed the portfolio with a particular benchmark, we have given a customized benchmark function, which will help you to take into account, maybe some of the equity. Let's say we have added Tesla stock. So, it is fairly important that we add in NASDAQ or S&P 500 as a, benchmark, a hybrid benchmark, right? We can make it like, let's say 20%. And let's say we have added, domestic, most of them are domestic mutual funds. So you can, let's say, add in Nifty 500, right? And this is just an example, but you can use in accordingly, what do you think is appropriate for the allocation for that particular benchmark. And you can add in others as well. If you have commodities, you can add in as well. So that's how you can use the customized index. And that customized index is actually, you can activate it for any portfolio. Whatever portfolio you have into the system, you can activate it any point of the time. So if I click on this mixed index, right, it is a customized index. You can compare this mixed index with your own mutual fund stocks, or a hybrid portfolio which you have right now. It's a quite diversified portfolio, right? And let's do one more comparison here, is that let's say our model portfolio, which has some commodities and some foreign equities. If you want to compare them with the mutual funds, all you have to do is you have to click on this. Once you have once you click on that compare button, I hope it is viewable to everyone. You can see that some of the custom securities has been added, such as Tesla, silver, and Apple stock. You can see the gold and crude oil as well, and you can see those mutual funds as well, which are added into the system. Let's say we consider, let's say we consider removing all those mutual funds, right? Now here we are comparing our custom securities based on the singular, their data points. As an example, you can see, which one is having the highest Sharpe ratio. So you can see accordingly that, Tesla is having the highest Sharpe ratio as of now. And accordingly, you can also see the 3-year, the 5-year, the 7-year comparison of all those commodities. Right? And it's a very good data point to, see if you're actually taking a call on those securities. And obviously these are customized securities, so the allocation of these securities will always be there into the other percentages rather than equity or debt, right? So that's how this works out. And you can also do the comparative analysis of, between rolling and, rolling return and Apple stock, and Tesla and any other stock as well. And you can also do the comparative analysis between the gold, crude oil, and silver as well. So what it does is that you can keep it as absolute and simple return and run it. So accordingly, you can see that based on that, the two equities which we have added, how much average they are giving for based on that particular last 260 from the start date of 2010 to 2022. What is the, every single data point shows you the previous sum of the 260 days returns. So every single data point is updated here. And you can also look into the risk versus return chart for those custom securities as it is shown. So based on any date you can choose, let's say 2016, and you can click go. And accordingly, these are the, custom securities given here. So these are the comparisons between them. And then we have the correlation analysis. So based on the correlation, you can definitely view what are the correlation analysis between those customized securities. And also you can do the analysis based on performance and point to point. So every single data point which was applicable for the mutual funds, by just adding any domestic mutual fund into the system, that is also applicable for the customized security. So you can either add in a PMS, AIF, or a ULIP by having a price series, and then you can compare it accordingly here. So so that is how this works out. And you can also look into the point to point analysis. Now why this is important, let's say there is a use case that in 2019, from this particular period, I would like to know which one has given me a good performance or a negative performance. So based on that, you can definitely see that the crude oil was in the absolute format, the crude oil was 32.44, but Tesla was in negative. So for this particular period, so you can make it analyze as well, but you can choose in a particular period, let's say fairly bigger period, let's say September, and then you can see the data points here. So accordingly, so this is how the data points works out. The Tesla was in negatives, but there are some securities which were in giving you better absolute returns. And this is a scenario making purpose. Let's say it is all about research in the fund section, but let's say you had some securities which are as old as 1980, right? So what you can do is you can add in those securities, and you can see how they have performed in 2008 when the US housing crisis hit. And you can actually have a good amount of research based on that, even in rolling, even in even you can see the risk versus return from the start date for that particular period. And you can view based on the crisis how they have actually performed. Yeah, definitely they are Apple and Tesla are actually US stocks. So for that particular purpose, you need to have you need to know some data points which actually has those events which were considerably affecting those particular securities. And then we have last 12 months. So in this current scenario, what is the monthly average of these securities, right? So this is an individual security analysis, customized security analysis, you can once you have taken a call, you can add in those securities into the portfolio to review the portfolio in the portfolio section, and then you can take a call if the portfolio is actually suitable for the client or not. So that is how this works out. And we have actually finished the session for how we can add multiple securities. I also have a couple of data points here to show you that I even have a data for JP Morgan and different particular stocks. But even I have a Berkshire Hathaway data point here. But the basic the basic logic here is all you have to do is take into account this adjusted close or a close and the date, right? So once you have this two data points available with you, you can actually make custom securities accordingly. So that is how this works out. All you need is this two data points, which is price series actually, and then you can add them into the system. And you can also activate those securities from here. So let's say I want to activate an IBM stock, so I can easily activate here. So IBM is added here. So IBM is the I've already added it before. So that is it for the entire session. We also have one more thing. This is going to take another session to show you, but we have released it recently, which is a client link for a mobile portfolio analytics. Now this, let's say you have a model portfolio here. I'm just going to run this simple model portfolio, and you want to share this model portfolio directly towards the client. So all you have to do is you have to click on this client link button, this one, and this such a dialog box will open up. And here you have to we have given a couple of things here which you can actually activate here. All you have to do is generate the random pin and add in the number. So we can have an entire session for this links section, but just a basic gist of it is just let's say I've added in some numbers here, right? And once I've added the number, I can click on the create client link, and a text message will be sent to the client with such a portfolio, right? And this is the actual portfolio which I'm talking about, which a client can view from this from their own mobile. Now it gives a lot of flexibility, because not many client would like to view the entire portfolio into their PC or a laptop. So this coupled by the analytics which we have given, it will be viewable like this. And here we have given the market section as well, which will be viewable to the client and the connect. So the client can connect with you with their own message, and it will be messaged to your email if they have any feedback regarding the portfolio. This is the basic gist of it. And we are going to talk about the client links with a new session. We will have a webinar session for this entire client link. And you can also manage this client link. So all these client links are manageable in here. So if I want to manage, I can manage it easily from my system. So that is how this works out. And this is it for the entire session. We can start with the Q&A. So anybody, if you have the question, we will try to address them. So please, if anyone has question, you can verbally state it up, or maybe write it into the chat box.
Yeah, hi, this is Arnav. So there's one question saying, can we also add an index instead of stock in a custom security? So yes, definitely you can. Basically, the idea is that you can add anything you want. So in the My Security section, as you just saw, all you need is a date and price. And one more thing, we'll just point out to you, Umair, if you could just go to My Securities once. Here, when you put in the date and price, the data does not necessarily have to be daily, because you might look at other things like, let's say, PMS valuations, or even a real estate investment, where you may have just 12 data points a year, or even 3-4 data points a year. That is also fine. Our system will cater for it. So you will see a step. There you go. So that's an example of where data was entered with irregular intervals, and they don't even have to be regular. Our system will clean up the data and then save it. So all you need is some historical data, at least some historical data. and then it will save it. And ideally, the main benefit of doing this is that not only can you run analysis just like what you see on your screen on that price series, you can also use that price series as part of a portfolio in a portfolio analysis. So the date, of course, you can definitely add stocks, and you can add anything else. There's another question saying, where do we get the price series? So this is, it's up to you. You saw Umair wanted to put gold, so he just kind of went on the internet and downloaded the price of gold. You may have a client who has their own investment outside of mutual funds and stocks, and they will provide you some kind of valuation. So this really depends on you. If you have some data outside of NGEN that you would like to bring into NGEN, this helps you do it. Somebody's asking about whether today's session is on YouTube. Yes, definitely. It will just give us a few days to just put the recording together in a nice format. But every session that we do is always uploaded to our YouTube channel. You can see it there. So there's another question saying, is there a feature which allows you to see actual returns for portfolio where the data field? So everything that you see on NGEN is backtested. So when you say actual returns, I'm assuming that you mean what is the profit and loss of a given set of transactions over time. So that is not something that we provide. To do that, we would have to market the actual portfolio, separately. This is not something that is available other than in some enterprise systems. What you will get, however, in your back office system, which I believe most people will have, is an XIRR number. So you will be able to see one number which represents the return of an investment into a particular fund with various transactions along the way. But everything we do in terms of research on portfolios is always on the latest positions. When will the weekly return be added in comparison of fund? Yes, it is actually happening this week. So we are doing quite a lot of work this week and the next week on the compare section. So we will be coming up with a release in approximately 10 to 14 days from now. And this is definitely one of the items that will be done among quite a few others. Somebody has asked for a demo of NGEN, so someone from our team will take note of your names and we will get that arranged. No problem. Is there anyone else with any questions? You can either write in the chat and or just unmute and just say a question. In Edelweiss, GCE funds doesn't show the allocation like the underlying security. So yeah, so this is something that can we try and load something, Umair, so we can just have a quick look at it. Let's see if it's Edelweiss, and then either it's going to be global or it'll be the okay, fine. Let's see. Yeah, so it's here. Let's go to asset allocation, and yeah, see, the thing is, 100% of their fund, in fact, they've borrowed a little money and put a little bit more than 100 into the JP Morgan Greater China Fund. Now, we currently do not have the underlying holding of the JP Morgan Greater China Fund. We are, however, as you may have read in one of our updates, that we are, NGEN Markets is now going global, and we've already started the UK office. So we might be getting global data soon. If that happens, we'll definitely put it in here. But this, we can't really add the holdings because it's not something that is currently available to us. If global mutual fund data does become available, we can obviously expose that. But at this point, this is the deepest that we'll be able to show for offshore funds. Is there a way to get mutual fund stock positions before the previous 12 months? Yes. So I don't believe it's going to be exposed. Let's just go to positions over time. Just on this tab is fine. Okay, so basically you can see it, the earliest date is showing you is March 21. So you can see basically 12, 13 months. So we do actually have more data, but not that much more. We have maybe about a year more. So if that is useful, we can make a note of it, and we can give you a download button or something where you can just get everything into Excel. I think that will be possible. We'll make a note of it. So whatever data we have, we can definitely make it available.
Sure. Thanks for that. This is Alok filling in for Savni. So why I asked? I'm audible, right?
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Why I asked is, suppose let's say I want to see how mutual funds or how the particular scheme has changed its stock allocation either by sector or by stock, even if it's by sector over a period of time. I think that sort of comparison between two schemes, gives us a good sense of how fund managers are adapting to various changes, or how they have adapted, at least in the past, to various changes. So that's the reason why I asked for that particular thing. Because I mean, since you captured the data on the holdings, even by sector, I think it will be an interesting.
Yes, I think what we can do is kind of have some kind of a load more button or something. So otherwise, by default,
exactly. Even that would be fine, or even if it's a different link, where because it's not something that everyone wants to see at all points of time. So that'll be useful.
We've got that down, so we should. I don't see why we won't be able to do it for the next release.
Sure. And any particular reason why the actual performance of the portfolios is not used? Because the parameters that the simulation runs are really interesting.
Well, I mean, this is something we get asked all the time. Now the thing is, if you look at any portfolio right now, this is just run anything. You can see that this is basically showing you these are the portfolio weights that you can see on the top right.
Correct.
That is what's running through back in time. Now, if we were to use actual transactions, then what we would have to do is that every time there was a change in the portfolio, these portfolio weights would change in the past.
Correct.
And then we calculate the profit and loss of those until the next point the portfolio changes, and so on. And then we come up with a line that represents your actual P&L. For this, there are two challenges. One is the fact that, obviously we would then have to consider all the historical transactions that have ever been done in, let's say, a particular client's account.
Right.
So this would require us to integrate with some kind of back office, which we've been trying to do, but most of them are not open to it. But the other option is to maybe go directly to the RTAs and get that. Now, we do have a direct connection with the RTAs, but that would become a P&L calculation, and it becomes a bit more troublesome, especially with funds going merged, unmerged, etc. And other problems like, for example, you will look at the calculation that we will do, and 100 becomes, let's say, 150. But in the client's account, the accounting system, which is CAMS, CARVI, etc., says that it's something else. So we have to.
It's a nightmare too.
Yeah, it becomes a never-ending reconciliation exercise.
Correct.
So I'm not saying that it's not possible. It's just that we have so far not really focused on P&L calculation. We focused our efforts more on kind of looking at the current portfolio and then making decisions on whether that's good or not. Yeah.
Sure. No worries. Thanks.
Okay, perfect. Do we have any other questions from anyone else? Okay, so somebody is asking, can you give us the option to construct a portfolio in value? Is that what you meant? I'm not sure I understand.
Yeah, it seems so.
Yeah, I mean, you can create a portfolio as you like with any funds from any time. You can just literally go to the fund section and select the funds you like, maybe analyze them in the compare section, and then convert them in value. Oh yeah, okay, value. All right, yeah, fine. Yeah, it's very easy. You can just go to client section. Make sure, just one second. Go back so we can show him where you went. Yeah, so when you go to the client section, you'll see there are 3 tabs: manual data, RTA connection, fund expert. The 2 tabs that are RTA and fund expert, they are directly connected to something in the backend. RTA connection is connected to your CAMS and Carby data if you have opted for that. It's free of charge. You can try it. We have been making improvements in it recently also. Fund expert is if you have a fund expert back office, we're connected to that. So you can't change anything. The data is automatically populated. However, this manual data section is your kind of notepad, if you whatever you like. Here you can create whatever you want. So you can add a client as Umair was just doing. And let's just do one quickly, anything. So you can, minimum you have to put is a name. You can put the other data here also if you want. And then you click on add. Now the client has been created. Now you start adding funds and stocks, whatever you like. So here you enter either the units or the share, value, whatever you want. The other will be populated. So there you go. Yeah, that's it. So you keep adding as you like. You say done, and then the client is once you click done, that's it, right? The client is saved here now. You can run analytics immediately if you want. You can create a client link, send it to the client. You can create a desktop link, PDF, PowerPoint, whatever you want. And we are going to not overtime, I mean, reasonably quickly, I think, we'll be adding more quick upload things like CDSL statements and all in order so that you don't have to do what we just did manually. But this facility is always there in the client section. Client link feature is, please do come and join next time. But even then, all you have to do is click and try it out. We put 100 links on everybody's account, so you can just kind of, it's mostly for testing. Just try it out yourself, and you can just write. You can put your own number there. You'll get a text message. You'll click on the message. It will open up on your phone. You'll put the PIN number just for security, and then you can see what the client will see. And only if you like what you see, should you forward that message to the client. And you don't have to forward them the text message. You can copy the text message. And see, there it is. So now, yeah, this is the text message. You can put it in WhatsApp if you want, because it has the link and the pin. So on a phone, if you click on the link in a phone, it will open up. This is meant for phones, not for your desktop. That's it. The message is being sent to whoever's number Umair put. And when it's clicked, you can see the list of all the clients if you've made. You can deactivate it. You can change the default benchmark, etc. You want to send it to another client, you can just click the SMS thing over there, and so there it is. What you see here on the right hand side panel, this is what we've tried to do with a picture of a phone and what will show inside the phone. So here you're just scrolling with your mouse, but this is what it will look like on the phone, and it is very, very similar. There's analytics, there's there's markets, connect, everything is there. Yeah, so so hopefully that that helps. Any other questions from anybody? Okay, perfect. Umair, I think we can close off now.
Yes. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining this session. In the next session, we will definitely have something, very interesting, and we are going to have more interesting sessions. If you do have any suggestions, if any topics would you like to have with us, we would definitely take your, suggestions as well. So that is it from our side. Thank you so much. Have a nice weekend, and please do join in the next session, same time, Friday, 4 o'clock in the next week.